Oh my gosh, MR2 guys, the revival's real. It's been since 2007 since we've seen the MR2, and even the most recent one wasn't the greatest. We know the first and second gen were by far the most aspirational vehicles for the mid-engine runabout, or midship rear-wheel drive two-seater. The Toyota MR2 may have just been confirmed. Check this out. Special thanks to one of my followers down in Aussie land for finding this and sharing it to the channel. What we have here is a service manual for an MR2 new air conditioner kit. There's not a lot of information here, and I don't need a lot of information because what my follower was telling me is that they don't share information on here that's older than 10 years old. So even if I look up Celica right here, no results found. If I type in Camry, yeah, right, a ton, right? And they keep going page after page. If I type in MR2, we have a new air conditioner kit here. It was posted June 23rd this year. So, okay, so my source is saying that he doesn't know if we'll see it before 2025, even though we have this post from Toyota on this official website. But he says there's a high chance this is an official manual, meaning they have already completed the designs and factories have started to begin prepping for this vehicle. Otherwise, there'd be no reason to have it loaded on the servers. Also, he says it looks like Australia will be getting the manual Supra before the GR Corolla, and that might be the case anywhere. And the reason is the Motomachi plant just can't get the chips to make the vehicles. We see that with electric vehicles, but they might be trying to figure out how to fix the wheels falling off before they start producing them again. Before we get too far ahead of ourselves, I just want to curb your expectations. We have a lot to talk about the MR2 still and what might be. But there's a possibility that this could be something like a new air conditioner unit for old MR2s. I don't know. Toyota's been producing parts for old sports cars, so maybe this is an updated air conditioner to be more ozone sensitive with the refrigerant. Again, I have no idea. I just want to have some sort of expectations curbing before we just say, hey, MR2 is 100% coming, because we don't know until we probably have spy shots, and even then, until we hear from the horse's mouth, do we know that the MR2 is coming. So definitely take everything what you hear going forward with a grain of salt, but man, is it fun to talk about. Before we get more into this MR2 stuff, if you're wondering where the heck I am, why I have a Honda hat next to me, I'm actually in Nashville, Tennessee, not that far from the Nissan Titan Stadium. This is Nissan Country I'm in, but Honda's brought us out here to drive the new CR-V, as well as a bunch of other stuff. We have the big race this weekend, the Nashville Grand Prix, which I won't be attending, but there's a lot of cool stuff going on with Honda this week. That's why I'm in a strange room with a Honda hat next to me, because I freaking adore this vintage Honda hat. Okay, let's get back into some Toyota news. We're talking about the big three right there, Nissan, Honda, and Toyota from Japan. Let's get back into it. We're going to get in our time machine here. If we look back in 2018, rumors of this MR2 started to begin to swirl. That's a long time. That's 4 years ago at this point, guys. Best Car in 2018 was quoting Mr. Kai, an engineer who graduated from the University of Tokyo, who's fluent in German. In an interview, he said, the 8.6 and the FR Sports are complete with the Supra, which the Supra was new in 2018. He says, next I want to aim for the revival of midship sports. That's the MR2. Now, Toyota wants to have a large, medium, and small sports cars. Well, with the GR lineup, we have the GR Corolla, the GR Yaris, so that's like a medium and small right there. You also have the GR Supra and the GR86. You're talking about this MR2, this GR MR2, that's a mouthful, GR MR2. It actually doesn't roll off the tongue that bad, GR MR2. Anyways, we're gonna have 5 amazing sports cars from Toyota before things go all electric, and I think that's really why they want to do this. 3 years later, at the end of 2021, I can't believe that's almost like a year ago at this point. But anyways, Toyota MR2 successor, new electric flagship development continues, partnership with Porsche, Lotus, So they keep hearing in Japan that MR2 is alive and well. They know it's going to be partnered with someone, but they just didn't know at this point in time who it was going to be. With electrification, I just don't think that's going to happen. I think Toyota is going to have a full battery electric for like really, really high-end performance, like we saw with the MR2 concept in December. Also with the Lexus battery sports electric vehicle. We're heading to the spreadsheet and we have so much to cover here for you guys. I have a lot to talk about. What we're hearing from Japan is that this MR2 will be built and designed in conjunction with Daihatsu, a subsidiary of Toyota, as well as Suzuki, which Suzuki's owned 20% by Toyota. And those brands would have their own variants, just like BMW has the Z4, just like Subaru has their BRZ. Now, of course, us here in the United States and even our neighbors to the north in Canada, maybe even in the south of Mexico, we would probably just be getting the Toyota variant. Now, what about these engines? Well, the sources from Japan are saying it's supposed to be a Suzuki turbocharged inline 3-cylinder. So that's what we have on the far left. Now, the issue is that this K10C booster jet engine's a sweet name. It reminds me of like a rooster on a jet engine. It's supposed to have 109 horsepower, 125 pound-feet of torque. Supposedly, they are overboosting this booster rooster jet engine to 150 horsepower. But as some followers on my channel, some international followers are like, hey, you know, Suzuki has other engines that they could also put in here. And that's true, but that's also going to increase the price potentially. It's also going to increase the weight in theory, not by much. So they have this inline 4 is a 1.4 liter booster rooster jet. 6-speed automatic is what is pretty much the only rumor we have, 6-speed automatic. But if it doesn't come in a 6-speed manual, it's a complete like flop. It would really hurt my soul if it doesn't come in a manual, especially with such a little horsepower. But this would be a lot easier to get it to 150 horsepower because it already produces 144 horsepower and 170 pound-feet of torque, which is a good amount of torque in a small sports car. And this powertrain would be a good matchup against the Miata we have here on the far right. This is Suzuki we're talking about. When it comes to engines, Suzuki to me is just as good as Honda, up there with Toyota, up there with Yamaha when it comes to making engines. I mean, frick, Nissan can make some hell of a good engines too. Suzuki can make the engines with the best of them. And that is apparent in the Hayabusa engine. 1340 cc's of inline 4 screaming power, 172 horsepower, only 97 pound-feet of torque. This engine's tuned for peak horsepower. We also see this engine in a new vehicle called the Suzuki Vision Gran Turismo. And this is just a concept vehicle shown in the Gran Turismo series video games just recently. This is a hybrid in that video game, the Suzuki Hayabusa engine, but it has 3 electric motors. Are we going to see anything like that in this MR2 or Suzuki variant? I don't think so. Would it be amazing if they dropped the Busa engine in it? Absolutely. I'd probably put in my reservation like immediately. Just because a Busa engine and MR2 sounds like Japanese fangirl heaven, and I would be right there. So let's talk about some other things that I haven't mentioned yet. I don't think it's going to be a hybrid due to cost and weight. It is rumored to be around $25,000. That seems too good to be true, but if it only has 150 horsepower, it's a tiny engine, it's a tiny car, and it's supposed to be on Toyota's B platform like the Yaris and the Yaris Cross, like there's nothing to this vehicle in theory, so it shouldn't cost much. Yeah, I mean, they're splitting the cost between 3 different companies too, so that should help reduce costs, but $25K just sounds way too good to be true. I think it'll start at $30K by the time it makes it to our shores, which it would be hard for me to say no to that even. All right, 6-speed automatic is the only one rumored. We talked about 6-speed. They need a 6-speed manual for enthusiasts. All right, what are my final thoughts? I think 150 horsepower is absolutely fine. If the car is like 2,400 pounds or less, I would love to have the safety features, like the Toyota Safety Sense features would be amazing. I would just crave a removable top. If it's really the only manufacturer that has a competitor to a car like this is the MX-5 Miata from Mazda. And that's a drop top, and that car is just 100% happiness, fun, smiles, ear to ear, and that's what I want this MR2 to be. And a drop top would help that out immensely. If it doesn't have a drop top, I feel like it's a coin flip between the MR2 and the MX-5 in terms of what would be more fun. This car needs to make me smile, not only when I'm driving it, but when I'm outside of the car. When I look back at the car, it needs to look just so good. The MX-5 does that, the MX-5 RF especially. The new Corolla, GR Corolla does that. Even the GR86 looks way better than the BRZ variants just because of a bumper. But Toyota's just, their design on their sports cars right now is really good. Not the Supra's a little much for me, too many fake vents and whatnot, but the rest of them are done really, really well. And I feel like this car should hold true to the old adage. It's better to drive a slow vehicle fast than a fast vehicle slow. That slogan, that quote, whoever said that, that will never go out of style. And that's what makes driving the MX-5 so fun. That's what makes driving the GR86 so fun. That's what makes driving any low horsepower car fun, is the engagement factor, the fun, the flickability of it, the lightweightness of it, and just the feelings that makes you feel like a kid. That's what this MR2 needs to do. By 2025, can Toyota do it? I sure hope so. One last final hurrah. Oh, man, it'd be amazing. And I got a really good feeling about this, and I just want to say thank you to my follower in Australia for sharing that service manual for the air conditioner on the supposed upcoming MR2. So anyways, I'm going to end it there. Thank you guys so much for watching. I got some Talons from Honda to drive, some side-by-sides off-road, and I got a CR-V to drive tomorrow. It's going to be fun. Catch you guys in the next one. Take care of yourselves. Peace out.